All right, let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Roberto Monaco here with Influenceology and a car speaking company. And today I have a powerhouse. This guy is so powerful that you had internet issues because it's too much power. My brother, Dr. Joe Minardi, what's up, bro?
What's happening, Roberto? So happy to be here, man. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm happy we got this hooked up.
I appreciate that. I want to introduce Dr. Joe Minardi, give him the proper introduction by telling two quick stories. I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, I was at Cal Jam, and as a speaking coach, presentation coach, I spent all my day, since 2002, watching talks, right? So I seen 1,000 speakers, and usually when I see a speaker, and I'm like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? It's really hard to grab my attention. It's really hard because I've seen it all, heard it all, and when I see someone good, my brain goes, huh? And I'm watching the Cal Jam, and all of a sudden this guy shows up in a suit, like, boom, boom, and I'm like, kind of guy. I like this guy, you know? So you deliver like, I don't know, 20-minute classic talk, brother, really powerful, so certain. I'm like, man, I like this guy. I really like this guy, you know, because I like the professional who takes speaking seriously, right? Fast forward, then we connected, we had dinner together in Cal Jam. Fast forward 2 years ago, we were in Sherman College.
That's right.
And I was speaking, you were speaking there, and in between sessions, sat down, and you said something to me that I use until today. We are talking about rehearsing, and then I hope that you get into your story today on how you got started. And you talk about how most people in chiropractic who are on the stage, most of them, they don't practice, most of them. And then you said a line to me, bro, that I use until today. And he said, oh, Roberto, I was like, yeah, they don't practice. Like, no. And you said, it shows. It shows. And you pause. I'm like, oh, man, that's so good. So, brother, thanks so much for what you do. Yeah, probably the most requested speaker in chiropractic profession. You do 40+ talks a year, weekends, right? Speaking. Right. So it's a pleasure to have you here, brother.
Thank you so much for, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I've wanted to do this with you for a long time. One of my favorite people in chiropractic. So I really appreciate this. And you know what? That's kind of what my whole talk is about today. I love what you're doing about influencing from the front, because so many people forget that you have to take charge. You have to command attention. So when I speak, whether it's at Cal Jam or a smaller event, you'll always see I dress in a very nice suit, or I'm well presented visually right from the beginning, because I take my stuff seriously. I take my material serious, and I take the audience serious. Tell you a quick story, brother. I was in my late 20s. I started teaching Thompson technique, and I was starting to advance Thompson technique with my own stuff, but I was insecure because I was a young guy. I was only 28 years old, and everybody who was taking my seminar was in their 40s and 50s, and I thought maybe they won't take me seriously, you know, and some of these guys were practicing chiropractic longer than I was alive. So I thought, what do I need to do to get people's attention, you know? So I started dressing up in a nice suit. So I presented myself in a certain way of respect, because I respect people when they look a certain way, you know? So I started doing that. And I'll never forget, at the evaluations at the very first seminar I ever did that, one of the chiropractors, it was all anonymous, so I don't know who said this, but it had to be a female because the printing was perfect on the page. So it had to be a female, you know? But she said this, she said, I really appreciate that you wore a suit because it shows respect for yourself, for us, and for the material. And I never, ever forgot that, man. I think so many people, if you see a lot of even big names in chiropractic, they'll go on stage and they got a t-shirt on and ripped jeans and all this stuff. And I know in their mind, they're thinking, well, I want to be casual. I want people to feel comfortable with me. But I don't think that that's the right approach. No one has ever not felt comfortable with me stepping out on a suit. They always sit back and say, holy cow, this guy is serious. People call me intense all the time. You want to know why, brother? Because I am intense.
No,
man.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. So good. Man, let me unpack, because you said so many things here that are gold. I want to talk about respect, right? For me, because we're gonna ask some questions here about respect. For me, health is like this. if you lose your health, sometimes you can get back, right? Someone is unhealthy, then you change chiropractic care, your habits, you can get back. Sometimes too late.
Sure.
Time, you never come back, you never regain. Right? So one of the things that I love about you, when I saw you show up, the first experience I had with you, I knew you had rehearsed the talk. I knew you had prepared the talk. I knew that you were on point the whole 20 minutes. Why do you feel first that? And I will talk about a lot of chiropractors today and chiropractic speakers. Right? Why do you feel there's a lot of chiropractors speaking to communities and chiropractor speakers speaking to other chiros? Why do you feel they don't take the level of commitment to their message?
I think there's two reasons, my brother. Number one, I actually think how you do anything in life is how you do everything. Okay. So I take my training seriously. I take my weightlifting serious. I take my relationship serious. Like when I'm in something, I take it very seriously. Okay. And I think that chiropractors, number one, they're not taking things as serious as they should. They lay back. They think, oh, things will just happen. Everything happens for a reason. I don't take that approach, bro. I make things happen. I don't accept anything except for I want to happen. That's what I go for 110%. And I don't stop until I get it. Now, a lot of people think, oh, that's very intense. My opinion is you're not intense enough. That's why you're not getting what you want in life. You got to go after it. You know what I mean? And the other thing is I think people have fallen into a misconception. They think if they don't practice, then they're going to be more relatable to people and it won't seem rehearsed. I want to make a big distinction here. When I say you have to prepare and you have to rehearse your talk, that doesn't mean I want you to memorize it. Memorization is very different than rehearsing. Rehearsing means you want to hit certain points at certain times, but you still need to be raw. You still have to be able to play with the audience, crack a joke. You have to read the audience, okay? Mm-hmm. But some people think rehearsing means I memorize everything from step 1 to step 20, and if I vary from that, I lose where I'm at, and then I'm screwed. That's not rehearsing. That's memorizing. That is not a good way to speak at all. In order for you to command attention from the front of the room, you have to be confident. And confidence comes from your preparation, because you know that if a person asks you a question, if somebody brings up a different point you might not have thought of, you're ready. You're ready for it. Okay. That's why if you saw me on CalGym that first time or anytime, I have everything timed to the second, and I add into there about 5 minutes of letting the crowd laugh or a joke going well or whatever that is. But that's rehearsal, brother, over and over and over again. A lot of people don't understand. For a 1 hour talk, and people think people think I'm exaggerating this. For a 1 hour talk, I probably rehearsed that thing 150 times. For a 1 hour talk. And it took me thousands of hours to put that talk together. And people don't understand that. It takes me an average of 4 to 6 months to put together an hour and a half presentation. 4 to 6 months, brother. A lot of people don't understand the amount of prep it takes to look easy. When something looks easy, you look at a guy, you say, holy shit, that guy really made that look easy. That's because he put tremendous preparation in order for it to make it look that easy.
So it's easy, play devil's advocate here. It's easy for you to say, you know your stuff. You're a doctor. You've been teaching for a while. Why don't you show up and let his name speak? Because chiropractic.
Oh, yes.
Chiropractic, there's a lot of people that they show up and say, I'm going to let innate speak. So you're something to opposite. So I want to see your perspective on it.
Absolutely. And that's what I bring it right back to the conversation you and I had when we were at Sherman talking in the hallway. Anytime, I include my good friends in this, and I've talked to them about this, and they know this if they see this, that I'm talking directly to them. Anytime somebody says to me, you know what, John, I'm just going to step on stage. I didn't prepare one word. I'm just going to let innate talk to me and see how it goes. Well, it shows, brother. It shows, because that talk is never one that I look at and say, oh, wow, fabulous talk. That was great. It's never the ones, if you go in the hallway later at a big seminar, people say, oh, I really love, Joe Blow. He was great. That's never a person who just let innate come out, because the truth of the matter is, even if you have an innate ability inside you to speak, to command attention, you still have to polish that. It's no different than if you had an innate ability to play football. Well, you still have to practice 6 times a week. You don't just walk in and say, oh, you know what? I was born a good football player. It doesn't freaking work that way, man. And speaking is the exact same thing. But people don't think so because, again, it looks easy until you step on stage, and then you see how easy it is. Right?
I love it. I love it, man. You're speaking my language. I love it. I just love this. I love this one because it is a frustration for me coming from outside chiropractic, and then have a chiropractic story. Chiropractic changed my life, the life of my wife, my kids. Now being a chiropractic advocate, it's frustrating for me, really.
Sure.
One, the amount of chiros that don't speak at all. I get the emails.
Yeah.
I get the emails like, hey man, been 10 years in practice, 15 years in practice. I get those emails. Never done a talk, never done an orientation. I get it. So for me, it's like hurts me. The second part, the few who are doing, man, they don't take. I wish they take that craft as serious as you do, because for me, we don't speak to inform, we speak to transform. And every presentation that I do, that you do, I am certain about that for preparation level. You go in as like, man, mission critical, life and death. Like you teach technique, right?
That's right.
Neurology technique.
Technique and neurology, yeah.
Yeah. And so what happens when you do a talk and let's say someone doesn't sign up for your class? They might be, quote unquote, struggling for the next 5-10 years.
Sure, absolutely. And the thing is what I don't, here's what I like to say to anybody viewing this, because a lot of people have asked me, I built up a big practice. I still practice. A lot of people don't know that. I still practice every week, even though I usually speak 40 weekends per year. I'm still in practice. A lot of people don't know this. And I want people to really realize this. The way you can build a practice, or the way that you can influence your community, if you ever have aspirations to step on a stage like a Cal Jam, like a big monster, like ChiroFest, things like that. If you ever have aspirations to do that, it is no different than being good at anything else. It's no different than being good at swinging a tennis racket. It's no different than being good at a relationship. It all takes time and repetition. Time and repetition. You need to do it over and over again. And at the beginning, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be a struggle for you. You're going to do a couple of talks and you're going to say, I'm no good at this, man. I'm not a good speaker. No one is born a great public speaker. Great anything are made. They're made. Oh, that's the truth, man. That is the truth. That's why they say hard work beats talent 9 times out of 10. Even if people are talented speakers, some people just like to talk to people. They feel comfortable in front of a crowd. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a good speaker, because some people can talk, but they talk a lot of bullshit. There's no real substance to it. There's no beginning, middle, and the end. So you're like, yeah, that guy can talk to 500 people, but I didn't get anything out of it. You know what I mean? The other thing I wanted to tell your viewers is, this sounds simple, but every talk has to have 3 components. It has to have a beginning, it has to have a middle, and it has to have an end. And now that sounds simple, but most people talk without those 3 things thinking in their head. So what's a good beginning? What you did today, brother, starting with a story. You have to give a story to get people emotionally involved. They have to understand, why is this dude even talking to me? Why is this dudette even talking to me in the beginning? Tell your chiropractic story. And if listen, don't think you have to have a chiropractic story that, I got adjusted when I was 2 years old and it changed my life, so that's why I got into chiropractic. If you have that story, great, tell it. But if you don't, tell whatever story it is. I wanted to be a medical doctor, but I didn't get in, and then I went to chiropractic college and that transformed my life. Tell whatever story it is. People need to know why you're in front of them, okay? Then you need the middle. The middle is where you start to give the information you want to portray to the crowd, whatever that is. If you're speaking that day on the effectiveness of chiropractic on children or pregnancy or whatever, that's now the middle. Now, let me tell you something about the middle. The middle has to have struggle involved. A lot of people don't know this, but the middle of any story, in order for it to connect to people, has to have struggle. So what do I mean by that? You can talk about the struggles that you see with children coming into your office that had problems for 5 years. They didn't come in because no one knew about chiropractic care. You could talk about the trouble you see with pregnancies and everybody getting cesarean sections where they don't need to, where they could have been avoided with chiropractic care. Whatever it is, it has to be a struggle in there. So again, it keeps people emotionally connected while you're learning information. Okay. And then the last but not least is you need an end. You have to freaking end at some point. So the end has to tie up everything together. And again, remind people of your story a little bit. Remind people why you're in front of them. And then obviously thank them for being there and listening to you. You get it? It has to have those three components.
Love that. Love that, brother. Love it. Now we talk about struggles here. So, I mean, I have, after 4,500 talks, I have my share of struggles. Do you have one of your struggles of your talks that didn't go that well? Or
100%.
Do you remember a mistake you made? Like, oh my God,
let me share a mistake I made with you, bro. And probably one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life on one of the biggest stages of chiropractic.
Oh, okay? I want to hear that.
And let me tell you, it was 30 seconds of my talk, of a half an hour talk, and that's what was remembered, the mistake. You know what I mean? No, nothing else remembered from the whole damn thing. I was so pissed off at myself. Here's the story for you. I can't remember what year it was, but it was the first year I ever spoke for CalJam, okay? And Billy D said to me, he goes, listen, John, he had heard a lot of good things about me. I was recommended to him by other people. And he says, can you do a talk for me on ADHD? And I said, for sure. So I started to research ADHD again. Now, remembering all the principles I just talked to you. And now in a half an hour, I know that some of you may think a half an hour is a long time, but it really isn't. A half an hour to get a good, concise talk, that's actually harder than if you give me 5 hours. You know what I mean? Because I got to be... You know what I mean? I got to be condensed. Anyway, but you're in front of CalJam. It was my first time presenting there, and there was probably 3,000 people there, and I wanted to kill it. You know what I mean? And then I came across a website that was talking about this new drug they wanted to give pregnant women for ADHD. And I was like, what the frick? I started to talk to some of my good friends about it. I go, did you see this? Did you see this? These are very smart people in the profession. They were outraged as well. So anyway, but I made a major mistake. This again comes back to preparation. I didn't triple check that source. I should have triple checked it, but I didn't triple check it. The problem was this. I had read other research that was pointing to the same direction that this one website was talking about. So I assumed it was accurate, and that was my mistake. So when I went on stage, I do the whole thing. Now I actually killed my talk. But the problem was this. When someone got that one point, that one slide, they just Googled it, because you can Google everything in 2 seconds, right? And the problem is, because there's 3,000 people there, a bunch of people they found the mistake. And right from there, my haters on the internet, because everybody's got haters, brother. Oh. My haters on the internet is like, oh, can you believe John Minardi? He made a mistake. He should apologize to people, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. Billy D, this is why I love him like a brother to this day. Yeah. He stood behind me 100% and said, listen, this thing's happened, all that kind of stuff. But that was a big blunder for me and a big, big lesson. From then on, I not only double checked all my information, but I triple checked it, because the amount of embarrassment I took from that and the amount of bullshit I took from that was off the charts, So take it from me. If you're going to talk about anything, double and triple check your information, because if someone does call you on it, you're ready.
I love that, brother. Thanks for sharing that.
My pleasure, my man.
Thanks for sharing that. So couple of things. Why you? So I know you teach. Why you teach? I mean, you could be just helping patients, packing. You already have a busy office. Why do you go to the hassle of teaching? Why do you do that?
Yeah, it's a good question, brother. I mean, the thing is I started speaking in my community to build my practice, because I found that more than anything, that built my practice more than anything else, is when I was in front of people. And then when I was starting to teach technique, I did it because of the love of the technique. I wanted to advance that technique, and I was doing so much work on it. I was starting to get asked to speak. So I said, okay, let's do it. Now I have a martial arts background. I fought professionally. I taught martial arts. So for me, teaching I did not come naturally. I want you to know this. Teaching took time. I was teaching martial arts from the age of 16 years old. So from 16 all the way up, I had been teaching for years and years and years. So speaking and being in front of people took time. It wasn't natural for me. It's not natural for anyone. You have to put the time in. So then what was happening was I was starting to incorporate a lot of neurology in the technique that I was teaching. So people were looking at the neurology saying, holy shit, that actually makes sense. Can you speak on that? And I said, well, listen, I'm not a neurologist. I'm not anything. And they said, no, but people understand what you're saying. So I started to speak at neurology seminars as a non-neurologist, bro. I'm the only non-neurologist at neurology seminars speaking. And that started to build and build and build. And all of a sudden, I'm on the road 40 weekends a year. Now, that took 18 years to get to that point, but I was on the road 40 weekends a year. And the reason, because it actually, when I started traveling that much, it actually decreased my practice because I couldn't put as much emphasis in my practice. But the reason I did that is because when I was on the road, I would see other chiropractors come up to me and say, John, this just transformed my practice. I got to change what I'm doing on Monday with my people. I want to be a chiropractor again. So many chiropractors came up to me and said, I was about to quit chiropractic. Someone said to come and see you speak, and that completely changed me. I don't want to quit chiropractic anymore. I want to tell people the truth about what chiropractic did. So that was my driving force, were those people, seeing the light bulbs turn on in people's minds, telling me that they're going to go back to their communities, tell people what chiropractic really is, and show them the power of chiropractic, not just for pain and all the bullshit that we got taught at school, but for real global health things. And that's why I spend so much time doing new courses and preparing and being on the road so much and being away from my family and stuff like that, is because I want to improve the profession. That's my big goal here.
I love that, brother. By the way, Dr. Roger Sahari say, go boys, say hi here.
I love Roger, man. Love Roger.
This is amazing, brother. Now, where do you see, I like, as a leader in a profession, where this whole COVID, and you and I were chatting before we start actually going live here, and you live in Canada, from a perspective of the chiropractic role with this COVID ordeal, where do you see chiropractors stepping in? Is it an opportunity for chiropractors? Is it an opportunity, life as usual? What is your mindset in reference to chiropractic in this whole ordeal that you experience right now?
Well, my first mindset's probably the same as everybody else's. I thought it was bullshit, and we had to shut down our clinics. We couldn't see people. It was a big mess. You know what I mean? And I took a big hit financially from it. I'm sure a lot of people took a big hit financially from it. And then I had to change the way I was thinking. I'm like, okay, I'm not the victim mentality. I don't like to just sit there and say, okay, forget it. When I'm in a fight, man, I'm fighting back as hard as possible to try to kill you. That's what I'm trying to do. So I thought to myself, okay, we can't freaking do things in person the way that we want. So then I started to do stuff on Zoom. I started to do neurology things on Zoom. I took the whatever it was 4 months off, and I created 3 new courses that I'm going to be presenting this year. I looked at everything like, okay, I usually don't have time to do this. So now that I do have time, I'm going to freaking jam. And I created 3 courses by working 10 hours a day on research. All I did from when I woke up. Yeah, I woke up till I went to bed. All I did was research all day, put together courses all day, and I spent time with my girl. And that was my whole freaking life, man. The freaking gyms were closed too. I had to go to a park to freaking do chin-ups and shit.
Yeah.
What the hell? You know what I mean? I just couldn't do anything except research. But it was, what I want to answer now is, what can chiropractors do? If you're still in certain states, because I know certain states still have lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, use video conferencing to your advantage. Get out there and start talking, because even through this screen, right? Like, we're not together, but you can feel the energy between the two of us, right? If you talk with passion and if you get there, even on a video screen, it's not as good as in person, but it's still better than not talking to people, you know?
100%.
So use video conferencing to do it. Another thing, like I was doing, creating my courses, you should be creating talks. You might not want to be a speaker like I am on a main stage, but you want to be in front of your community. Pick topics that people want to listen to. Pick topics you're passionate about and speak to them in your community. But prepare the freaking talk. Don't go, oh, and Nate's going to help you. It's not going to help you, bro. I'm telling you, it's not going to help you. Listen, if you never picked up a tennis racket in your life, would you go play a professional tennis player? No, you'd get your ass kicked, right? Like that's just what's going to happen. You have to practice constantly, man. So take this time and practice over and over. Talk to your wife about it. Talk to your dog, whatever it is. I don't care. Talk to the mirror, but get in front of it. And listen, for those of you, some of you, don't take this the wrong way, but I want you to take it to heart, okay? Some of you dress like you're homeless, okay? Some of you dress like you don't have a home. How am I supposed to take you seriously? I'm being honest here, because if you're going to sit back and say, oh, yeah, but I'm a hippie, I'm a millennial, I like to wear T-shirts and ripped jeans, that's good for you if you go out on a date. That's good for you if you want to just go chill out at the beach. That's okay then. But when you're presenting yourself in a professional capacity, look professional, feel like $1 million. It's like listen, if for my men out there, when you put on a beautiful suit that's custom made to you, it's like you put on a Superman costume, man. You feel 10 times more authoritative than you usually will. For my beautiful women out there, wear a nice form-fitted dress suit or a beautiful dress. Look the part, man. Put on those beautiful Louboutin shoes if you have them. Look great, because you'll feel better and you will present better. I promise you that.
I love that, brother. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. So let's talk about the courses. What are the courses that you develop?
I developed 3 brand new courses on top of all my other neurology stuff. The first one I call the magic of the brain, because I'm actually going to show people how chiropractic affects things like emotions in the brain, how people in your office say to you, oh my God, I've been feeling so good under chiropractic care, but they're not even talking about pain. They just sit back and say, I haven't had pain in 2 years, but I never missed my adjustment. Now, if you ask those people, like if someone pulled them aside and said, but why do you still go to your chiropractor if you don't have any pain? Like, I don't understand. Those people say, well, I don't know. I just feel better. They can't put their thumb on why they're going. And that one course, the magic of the brain, is going to be able to explain to doctors, to explain to patients what's actually happening to the emotional system of their brain, the hormones involved with that. That's the first course. The second course I call the curse of change. And this actually fits into a lot of what we're doing with talking, because people don't understand this. The brain hates change because it's difficult. You have to consciously start doing something different. That's why for anyone watching right now, they're like, oh, but I'm not that good at talks. It's because your brain is like, I'm not that good at it. So you don't want to do it because you know it's going to be work. Well, that's the same with patients. Patients have heard the same damn thing their whole entire life. Don't go to chiropractor. Chiropractor's only for back pain. You have to go to a chiropractor forever. They've been taught that. So in order to change that, it's very difficult, but there's a way to do it. So I explain, if you can understand the way the brain works, you can understand how to change it to a new paradigm. And then the last one, brother, this is my favorite course I've ever created. It's called Chasing Greatness. Because like we said earlier, great people are not born, brother. They're made. They're made. Anyone watching here, you can be great. You don't just have to be okay. You can be great at speaking. You can be great in your office. You can be great in the profession. You can be great in life. Every single person, whether you're talking about Michael Jordan, you're talking about LeBron James, Tom Brady, if you ever look at someone and say, wow, that's a great person, they all have same attributes, man. They all have the same things going on for them. That's why they're great. And I break that down and I show people what it actually takes to be great. And so many people don't do it because the number one ingredient, my friend, hard work.
Yes.
Tons and tons of hard work, man. You look at anybody, absolutely anybody, and you say, holy shit, that guy was great at whatever. I don't even care what it is. I'll guarantee you that guy put in 20, 30, 40,000 hours of time before you even heard of who he was, you know?
Love that, brother. So if our audience here, they want to learn more about your courses, learn more about your speaking, to hire you as a speaker, or other classes, the events that you do, what is the best way to, there's a link I put here, the link to Minardi Education. What is the best way to reach out?
That's the best way, minardieducation.com. That will kind of give you a list of all the stuff that I've developed to date. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, just hit the contact us button. It'll always send us an email and we'll be able to get through to you. If you ever see me again at a seminar, at CalJam, at wherever these big seminars are, please always come up and say hello to me. I'd love to talk to anybody at any point in time. Roberto, I just want to give a little heads out to you though, man. I appreciate all the work that you're doing to help create good speakers in the profession, whether it be for their practices, for the communities, or on major stages like you and I step on, because it's a skill that needs to be learned and constantly worked on. And unfortunately, too many people don't understand that concept, man. If you let me ask you, bro, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2002.
2002. Okay,
for 18 years.
Right. And when did you yourself consider yourself to be great at what you did? When did you consider?
I don't consider myself.
Exactly.
There's a whole new level.
Exactly,
there's
bro.
a whole new level for me to tap into.
Exactly, bro. And you know what, bro? That's why I called the course Chasing Greatness, because you never catch it. The true greats of the world are always looking for the next level. And once they achieve this, then they always want to get to the next one. They always want to get to, it's never done. That's why if you think of anything in life, think back 20 years ago, world records 20 years ago are a joke now. They're a joke. Everybody can beat those world records of 20 years ago. But 20 years ago, whoever was quote unquote the best was best then. Then someone else said, actually, that's not good enough. We're going to move to that, another level. That's what happens in everything, bro. That's what happens in speaking. That's what happens in chiropractic. That's what happens in life, man. If you ever think to yourself, you know what? I'm good. Then never forget, good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. You can never be great if you're settling for good.
My brother, I'm gonna listen to this interview again to get me fired up, brother.
I'm all jacked up, man.
My man. I'm so grateful for you for sharing with us, and I can't wait to see a live event anytime soon, my brother.
Oh, brother, I can't wait for that, man. I miss it. Even though the Zoom calls are good, you know, I'm doing this 5-part Zoom call coming up on 5 neurologies, 1 hour every weekend on the Saturday, starting September 19th. If people want to check out more about that, you can go to my website, thompsonchiropractictechnique.com, and you can check a little bit more about that. But it's all neurology and how we explain it to patients. I'm getting a different topic every week for 5 weeks. And I like doing that, but I love the live events better, right? Like I love feeling the energy of the room. I like seeing people's expressions on their face. I miss that. Like I miss it very, very much. You know, people have asked me what I miss most from this COVID thing. And what I miss most is being in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
To me, there is no better feeling, no better time that I feel like myself is when I'm in front of people. I know you're tight for time, bro, but if I could say...
I just want to, Dr. Jed M's here, say hello to you.
Oh, Jed, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
And we had one event here in Charleston, July 24th, whatever, 25th, today. And that was like 4 months after the lockdown. Bro, the love in the room is almost like you open the jail, you open the gates, bro. The love was incredible. So
no doubt. No doubt. And I wish I could have been there, man, because quite frankly, that's what we all feel like. We all feel like we're at home jail. You know, we didn't do a crime, but we can't go anywhere. It's crazy. I did want to say one last thing before I forget. For those of you who are starting to speak, starting to understand, speaking a little bit more, please never forget this very important piece. You always have to be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else, okay? If you're funny, then be funny. If you're serious, then be serious. But don't try to be something that you're not. If you can't tell a joke, don't try to tell jokes when you're talking. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to bomb on you. That's what's going to happen. But if you're naturally funny, if you're constantly telling jokes with your friends and you're a funny guy, then throw some jokes in your talk. If you're serious, don't think to yourself, oh, no, you know what? I'm real serious. I want people to be, think I'm more friendly. You're just being somebody you're not. That won't come out well. If you're an intense guy like myself, be intense. You're going to attract people because you're being true to who you are. You know what I mean? If you are a laid back person and you like to be on the beach 20 hours a day and all, then be laid back. You don't have to be like me. But whatever your style is, that's your style. Don't try to be like me. Don't try to be like Roberto. We're already ourselves. Okay? Like, you have to be you. So whoever is out there right now, if you're thinking to yourself, all I really like to talk about is sports. That's all I really like to talk about. Then gear all your talks to around sports because that's what you like. If you love the NBA and you're a big LeBron James fan and that's all you like to talk about, then gear all your talks of how chiropractic can help sports injuries and how you deal with athletes and how you've been an athlete yourself. Whatever it is, speak about something you're passionate about and be yourself. If you hate kids, don't talk about treating kids in your office. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to resonate that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
I love it. My brother, thanks so much.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Who said thank you, brother? Awesome. Love this intensity. This is great. Thanks so much, brother. People, they love your intensity, my brother.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate it. I can't wait to be back out there again.
Thanks so much, my brother. Have a beautiful day. Awesome weekend there. Thank you.
You too, bro. Thanks, brother.